The current AI revolution has generated trillions of dollars in wealth for Western silicon designers, placing their consumer chatbots in the hands of billions of users. Public narratives suggest the United States and its allies have already secured the digital century based on these high-profile software leads. The BIS Royal Doctrine looks past the software to a physical architecture 10 layers deep, a stack that extends from orbital space down to the atomic level. The West controls the visible top of this tower, but beneath the surface, China is securing the physical foundation, leaving the entire Western digital future resting on a base controlled by its primary adversary. At Layer 7, the high ground of orbit, the contrast is constitutional. SpaceX's Starlink is a commercial network that can be switched off by a single CEO. China's Guowang constellation is a state-backed backbone engineered specifically to survive a military conflict. At Layer 6, the West has built massive valuations on closed, highly guarded models like GPT-5 and Claude 4, charging premium subscription fees for access. This chart tracks the Global Macro Investor Index, the levelized cost of intelligence per unit of energy. In 2020, the US led by 7 months. By May 2026, that gap closed to just 0.2 months. China achieved this parity by using open-source models to match Western performance at 1/10 the training cost. At Layer 5, the cloud, China has avoided direct competition with American providers. Instead, they are regionalizing, using Alibaba and Huawei to enforce digital sovereignty across Africa and Southeast Asia. By dominating regional infrastructure and flooding the market with open-source software, Beijing is steadily eroding Western technological influence across the globe. To protect their lead at Layer 4, the United States used silicon embargoes to try and freeze China's compute capabilities 10 years in the past. The embargo accelerated the domestic ecosystem it was meant to stop. Fueled by unlimited state capital, Chinese firms like Huawei are now producing silicon that matches Western training performance. Layer 3, memory, provides a further hedge. The Korean memory cartel's price fixing creates a high floor that ironically subsidizes Chinese research and development into high-bandwidth memory. At Layer 2, the device layer, the divergence is becoming absolute. As China moves 1 billion users onto domestic operating systems like Harmony OS, Western models are losing access to the data those users generate. Layer 1, quantum computing, represents a strategic race to break modern encryption, rendering current military and financial security protocols obsolete. With separate operating systems, incompatible silicon designs, and diverging memory markets, the middle of the stack has fractured into 2 parallel and incompatible digital universes. At Layer 0, the foundry, the entire Western AI industry relies on the physical manufacturing capacity of Taiwan. Without these facilities, advanced chip designs cannot be realized. Layer -2, lithography, is a single point of failure. One company in the Netherlands manufactures the extreme ultraviolet machines required to print every advanced chip in the Western stack. At the very bottom, Layer -1, China controls approximately 90% of global rare earth processing, the elemental materials required for high-performance magnets and electronics. This illustrates the 0.1% rule. By restricting just a fraction of specific processed elements, Beijing can effectively freeze the production of Western satellites, data centers, and defense systems. The multi-trillion-dollar Western software empire is an illusion of power, tethered to geography and materials controlled by foreign jurisdictions. This 10-layer assessment maps our global architecture's systemic fragility. Red flags show where a single policy memo could flip the entire stack. The West holds the code at the top. China holds the atoms and processing at the bottom. Victory in the AI race depends on systemic endurance, the ability to survive the collapse of these fragile choke points. The nation that controls the physical foundation dictates the future of intelligence. We are simply waiting to see whose red flag falls first.